Let's walk on the wise path.
What if everything you see, touch, and feel is nothing more than an elaborate illusion? Imagine for a moment that the entire universe around you is like a vast 3D projection, just like a hologram. It may sound like something straight out of science fiction, but this concept known as the holographic universe theory is a real theory explored by some of the brightest minds in science, mysticism, and consciousness studies. If we're being honest, it's one of the most fascinating, mind-bending concepts that challenges the very nature of reality itself. Think about it. Everything you perceive with your senses, from the feeling of your hands to the air you breathe, might be part of an illusion created by interference patterns, projected from a deeper layer of reality. Now, imagine that the key to understanding this illusion is not in the physical world, but in your very mind. Sounds like something out of a sci-fi film, doesn't it? But the more we explore the holographic universe, the more we start to understand that there is far more to our reality than meets the eye. This theory doesn't just dive into the mysteries of the cosmos. It also opens the door to exploring phenomena like telepathy, precognition, and other psychic phenomena, things that we've often brushed off as mere paranormal activities. But what if these things are not out of the ordinary at all? What if they're a natural part of a deeper holographic reality that we're all connected to? In this video, we're going to break down the holographic universe theory and explore its implications on our consciousness, the universe, and even paranormal phenomena. Ready? Let's get started. The holographic universe. What does it even mean? All right, let's get to the heart of it. What does it really mean to say the universe is holographic? We're not talking about a literal, flashy, 3D image you can hold in your hands, but rather a deeper, more fundamental structure to the universe that behaves in ways we can barely comprehend. Picture a hologram, a three-dimensional image that, no matter how small you cut it, still contains the full image. It doesn't lose any detail. Each part reflects the whole. Now apply that idea to the universe. What if every atom, every molecule, and every bit of matter you see around you is part of a projection of a much deeper, more complex reality? This is the essence of the holographic universe theory. The work of physicists like David Bohm and neurophysiologists like Carl Pribram started pointing to the possibility that reality behaves like a hologram. Bohm, for instance, discovered that at the subatomic level, particles behave in ways that suggest they're all part of an interconnected dynamic whole, not isolated objects as we typically perceive them. Meanwhile, Pribram's research into memory and brain function showed that our brains process information in a way that's eerily similar to how holograms work. They're not storing information in a central location. Instead, they spread it out over the entire brain. When these two concepts come together, they form the foundation of the holographic universe. If reality works like a hologram, then everything in it, down to the smallest particle, is a projection of a much larger interconnected whole. This opens up the possibility that our entire universe, including our perceptions, is simply an illusion, created from patterns of interference in an invisible, deeper layer of reality. Reality more fluid than solid. Now let's get into the really mind-blowing part. If the universe is a hologram, then reality isn't as solid as we think. We're so used to seeing the world around us as fixed: our body, our possessions, the things we interact with. But what if all of that is simply a projection, an illusion? Just like a hologram, which is an image created by light and interference patterns, our reality could be formed by waves of energy, encoded in a way that our minds decode into the world we see and experience. The idea here is that reality, in its most fundamental form, is much more fluid than we realize. Imagine a massive river flowing with infinite information, constantly changing its course. That's what reality might be at its core, an ever-shifting, ever-changing field of energy. We're just witnessing it through the lens of our limited senses. Take a moment to think about this. What if the objects you see in front of you, your house, your phone, even your body aren't as fixed as you think? What if they're all projections of energy, constantly shifting and changing, like a movie being played on a screen? This would mean that everything we experience in our day-to-day lives, from the people we interact with to the events that unfold, is part of a much larger, ever-evolving projection of reality. In essence, what we consider to be solid reality is really just an illusion, like shadows on the wall of Plato's cave. We might think we're seeing the true form of things, but we're only perceiving a small fraction of a much bigger picture. The key takeaway here is that the universe is far more malleable than we've been taught to believe. And if we can tap into this understanding, we might be able to influence our own experiences in profound ways. Consciousness, the key to the cosmos. Here's where things really get interesting. If the universe is holographic, then it's not just about matter and energy. It's also deeply tied to consciousness, our consciousness, your consciousness. Michael Talbot, the author of the Holographic Universe, proposed that consciousness isn't just something that happens inside our brains. It's a fundamental part of the fabric of reality itself. In other words, consciousness is not localized. It's everywhere. It's embedded within the very fabric of the holographic universe. If we take this idea seriously, then it suggests something profound, that we, as conscious beings, are not just passive observers of reality. We're actively shaping it. Think of consciousness as a sort of cosmic antenna, tuning into the frequencies of the universe. Our minds decode these frequencies and create the reality we experience. But here's the kicker. If consciousness can decode reality, it might also have the power to influence it. This idea of interconnectedness between consciousness and the universe is a game changer. It opens up a whole new understanding of psychic phenomena, like telepathy, precognition, and other abilities that we usually think of as paranormal. What if these aren't anomalies, but natural expressions of the holographic nature of the universe? Just like a hologram, where every part contains the whole, maybe each of us contains the entire universe within us. This means that we could access information beyond the physical world, information that seems to defy the boundaries of time and space. If this is true, then consciousness might not just be a passive observer of reality. It might actually be the key to unlocking the deeper layers of existence. Quantum entanglement, proof of connection. Now, let's dive into something a bit more scientific, quantum entanglement. Imagine two particles. Let's call them electrons that are linked in such a way that when you do something to one, it instantly affects the other, no matter how far apart they are. This might sound like something out of a science fiction movie, but it's real. Einstein called it spooky action at a distance, and it defied everything we knew about physics. According to the traditional laws of physics, particles shouldn't be able to influence each other over vast distances. But that's exactly what happens in quantum entanglement. These particles are somehow connected, even though they're separated by space. In a holographic universe, this makes perfect sense. The reason these particles can influence each other across vast distances is that, at a deeper level, they're not separate. They're part of a unified whole, like two different notes played on a guitar string that vibrate together. The universe is like a massive energetic continuum, and everything in it is interconnected. Now, take a step back and think about this. If the universe is truly holographic, then everything, every object, every person, every event is interconnected. What happens to one part of the system affects the whole. This idea doesn't just apply to particles in a lab. It can explain phenomena we see in everyday life. It could even shed light on things like synchronicity, twin telepathy, or why certain people seem to experience things in parallel. At its core, quantum entanglement and the holographic model both suggest one key idea, that nothing in the universe is truly separate. We are all connected mind, body, and spirit, and our actions ripple throughout the whole. Paranormal phenomena, not so paranormal after all. When we think of paranormal phenomena, psychic abilities like telekinesis or telepathy, We often dismiss them as strange or even impossible. But what if these phenomena aren't so outlandish after all? What if they're simply expressions of the deeper, interconnected holographic reality we're all part of? Michael Talbot, in his exploration of the holographic universe, suggests that phenomena like psychokinesis, moving objects with the mind, could be explained within the holographic framework. In a universe where everything is interconnected, the mind isn't separate from matter. Instead, the mind and matter exist as part of the same continuum. So when we move an object with our thoughts, it's not about sending energy to the object. It's about the resonance between the mind and the object, two parts of the same whole. Similarly, poltergeist activity, which is often seen as an unexplained phenomenon, might also be a natural expression of the holographic universe. Talbot had personal experiences with poltergeists and found that the activity was always tied to his emotional state. When he was in a positive, calm state, the events were harmless. But when he was stressed or anxious, the manifestations became more disturbing. This suggests that our thoughts and emotions have the power to influence the physical world around us, especially when we tap into the holographic nature of reality. So, what we've always considered paranormal might simply be manifestations of a deeper, more interconnected reality. And with a better understanding of this holographic framework, we could begin to unlock the true potential of our minds. Healing and the power of belief. The idea that the mind can influence the body isn't just some esoteric concept. It's backed by science and real-world examples. One of the most profound demonstrations of this is the placebo effect. If you've ever been prescribed a sugar pill, thinking it was a real medicine, and felt better afterward, you've experienced the placebo effect. The placebo effect isn't some random coincidence. It's a demonstration of the mind's power to influence the body. In the holographic universe, Talbot shares the story of a man with cancer whose tumors shrank after he believed in the effectiveness of a drug that wasn't actually doing anything. His belief in the drug's healing power led to a real physical change in his body. When he learned the truth that the drug was ineffective, the tumors returned. This isn't magic. It's the holographic mind at work. When we believe something is real, our body responds as if it is. This is the power of belief, the power of the mind to influence the material world. It's also a reminder that we need to be mindful of what we believe. If our thoughts and beliefs shape our reality, then we need to make sure we're cultivating positive, healing beliefs rather than ones that keep us stuck in negativity. After all, what we believe, we can create. The holographic universe isn't just some abstract theory. It's a practical tool to understand the deep mysteries of existence. By embracing this model, we can start to see the world in a new light. Reality is more malleable than we think. Consciousness is the key to unlocking the universe, and we have the power to shape our lives, our health, and our experiences through the mind. Thanks for joining me on this journey. Keep questioning, keep exploring, and never forget that you are part of something much larger than yourself.